Hello everybody, welcome back to Killer Film Reviews. Today I will be reviewing the film Spider-Man 2002, which features some iconic voice actors such as Kirsten Dunst, Tobey Maguire, many more, including the famous William Dafoe. Occasionally I'll be going back to my vault of videos to review films. And, of course, we can't forget Rosemary Harris as Aunt May, James Franco as Harry Osborn, J.K. Simmons for his first time as J. Jonah Jameson, Joe Manganiello as Flash Thompson, Bonesaw as Randy Savage, and Cliff Robertson as Ben Parker. With great power comes great responsibility. Since the film, unfortunately, Cliff Robertson has passed away in real life, September 10th of 2011 to be precise. Would have been nice, honestly, in that Spider-Man No Way Home that we got a cameo from Rosemary Harris. Oh well. She's already getting up there in age at 94. Let's talk about what I think about this film. This film is iconic for many reasons. For one, for its focus on actually being comic book accurate to Spider-Man, and with it not having a Spider-Man that looks like he's in his 20s. The relationship between Kirsten Dunst and Tobey Maguire is strong as Emma Watson and Spider-Man and Peter Parker. We kind of get start of the film kind of opens with a voiceover of Spider-Man kind of talking about, "You want to know who I am? Here's my story." And then we're kind of introduced to kind of Peter Parker's backstory, where he's kind of being bullied at school, trying to sit. There's this iconic scene where he's trying to get the bus to stop, and the bus doesn't stop. He's trying to go after Mary Watson, but she keeps going with other boys instead. And of course, we're introduced to Harry Osborn and Norman Osborn. Norman saying the iconic line, saying his lines about science and all that. I think one of the most iconic lines in the film from William Dafoe as Norman Osborn is, "You know how much I sacrificed?" You know, basically, when he's in the board meeting, later part of the film, he's talking about that. Most part, the first 20 minutes kind of focuses on the high school years for a while, and then eventually high school graduation happens. Everybody kind of gets kind of used to their things. Honestly, graduation in high school is an important affair, as it's the last time you'll see many of your buddies before they go off to college or start a trade. Oh, and I actually got to graduate on my birthday of all things, so that's a rare occurrence, so that's something I'll always remember, of course. Man, I had such a good time in high school. I had so many cool friends. Soccer team, Miles, Tori, all of them. Oh man, then I also did yearbook. Going back to the Spider-Man movie, graduation kind of cements kind of like where Peter and Harry Osborn ended up getting their own apartment. Spider-Man, of course, has his powers because he got him before that when they were visiting the Science Institute place. As for kind of like this whole idea of, oh, what if Hulk and Spider-Man formed the early MCU, blah, 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 blah. I don't think there was ever any chance of that happening after Ang Lee's Hulk underperformed in theaters. Maybe the next film review when I get to it, but how does Spider-Man stand when compared to the newer films? It still hold up. Yes, I would say it still holds up. think that Tom Holland's Spider-Man still has the edge here, with it being more adventurous, with Tom Holland's Spider-Man actually going out into space, fighting Thanos, all that. And yes, spoilers, of course. Spoiler alert for those that have seen Spider-Man No Way Home. You get Andrew Garfield Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man there. Tobey kind of returns and has his iconic lines in there. I thought the whole film was great. Still think of it as a 10 out of 10 film, honestly. Is there anything they could have done better in that film? Not really. I think they pulled off all the stops when it comes to that film. As for Spider-Man 2002, I don't think we really got to see much. I feel like the only thing they could have really improved on is really just giving Green Goblin more time on screen, perhaps. That's about it. Otherwise, I think they pretty much do a good job of with great power comes great responsibility, that the late Cliff Robertson said. His character is Ben Parker. And of course there's a callback to that in Spider-Man No Way Home. It's a good scene. I think that Spider-Man No Way Home was one of the first times we ever saw old actors reprising their roles again. Honestly, I can't really think of any other franchises that have done the cross franchise thing. I mean, it's interesting. Oh boy. But yeah, we get into the whole thing of why wasn't there a MCU back then? Back then, Marvel really was cash strapped and sold off all the properties to Sony and Fox. Fox got X-Men, Sony got Spider-Man. Which is why we've had so many Spider-Man films. Because they couldn't ever bring themselves to do Spider-Man 4 for some reason. I guess the director, Sam Raimi, just thought it wasn't worth his time. Thought the story wasn't there quite. Kinda gotta give Sam Raimi some credits though for making that call. Because if you don't feel like you can pull off a great film, then don't sit there and force yourself to, otherwise you're gonna get bad. I mean, Spider-Man 3 had a lot of bad things with it, but we'll wait till the Spider-Man 3 video in order to talk about that. Honestly, I want you guys to tell in the comments what sort of films you want me to cover next. I'm gonna see Sonic 2, I already got my tickets for it. There really hasn't been any films that have interested me too much. Well, I'm still kind of looking forward on the horizon to Avatar 2, as that's going to be a good film, because I know James Cameron does a good job on his films most of the time. At the end of the day, we need to remember that there's good films and bad films, and that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is an example of a good film, while a film like Dracula Untold is an example of a film that is more on the bad side, or even at Star Wars Episode 9, with its plot that goes all over the place. Honestly, I think that I need to start going into the Star Wars films next. We'll see. Oh, great, I'm under attack. Yeah, honestly, 10 out of 10 film for me. I don't really see much wrong with it. I'll have to sit there and kind of rotate the films I do out a bit, so I'm not doing the same trilogy all the time. Yeah, we'll see if Spider-Man 2's next, or if it's going to be Sonic. At this point, I'm gonna be watching Moon Knight, of course, because that's coming up for release here tonight. By the time this video comes out, it will have already came out, but yeah. As for if the next Killer Film Review will be done with the submarine, we will see. See on that. Overall, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 2002. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2002, good. Good film, 10 out of 10, no issues with it whatsoever. And there you can see I got the New York port in the background there. You can see some of the old buildings. Obviously this is more representative of New York City in the 1940s than it is today. Still. at the end of the day, you do what you can. I don't expect that that everybody's gonna sit there and agree with what I say for film reviews, but I'm trying. So don't forget to like, watch, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next killer film review. Till then, have a great day.